It's about to be goddamn on and popping. About to manifest all those dreams. About to get all that paper. About to get all that cheese.
You talking my language, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
I hope we hit the record button though.
We it is. It is recorded.
Okay. All right.
So
That's what's
we
up.
good. So we
Are you
want to break
sure? Are you
in?
sure this episode of 32?
I am relatively positive. If it's not, we'll fix it in post. I don't even know. We're losing
Yeah,
count.
man. What up? What up, man? Figuring shit out. Y'all know what time it is. We got the boy TJ Turo Guy in the building. I ain't mean to call you a boy. I know you're a king. My bad. I be lyrical about that stuff too, because I don't like calling my son a boy. I be intentional about saying it. I mean, my bad.
All good, all good.
Y'all know me. King Arthur here. Unify and Thrive. Check out the sites. They scrolling at the bottom. Frank, what's good with you, Brody?
Not much, man. It's a beautiful Monday. Check out the sites, Flacs, silversyndicate.org, loserperspective.com. You already know what it is, season 2. We like almost in the middle of season 2, man. We still going hard. We got TJ the Turo Guy here with us. What's going on, brother?
What's happening, man? I appreciate y'all having me.
Definitely.
Yes,
So
sir.
I guess we should jump into talk a little bit about yourself, what you're about, and then we're gonna jump into what was your figuring shit out moment. Whether you decided to go from employee to entrepreneur, you figured out life, or you had a eureka moment, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? What's going
Yeah,
on?
absolutely. So the name says it all, the Turo Guy. If those listeners aren't familiar with what Turo is, it's basically the Airbnb of cars. So I started in this game probably close to about 2 years now. I'm just renting out cars, so that's what I do. But who I am, man of God, family man first. Those two come before business, but business wise, you were asking about the figuring shit out moment.
Yep.
For me, it came definitely when I was in corporate. So I took the traditional route, go to school, go to college, get a degree, get out there and get a decent job, right?
Go in debt. Right.
Me and my wife got into kind of the same thing. This is right around the same time we were trying to build a life for our oldest. So we had gotten the house, we had gotten the jobs, but we were in it for about a year or two, and we just got to a point where we were like, this can't be it for the next 30, 40 years just to do this every single day. We were spending more time with our coworkers than we were with our family. We were saving up for 1 or 2 vacations a year just to go back and stack bread. So like we just got to the point where we like, for the life that we really want to live, we know that this isn't just it. Corporate isn't going to get us the life that we want to live. So we knew then that we needed to get into business in some shape or form. Had no clue how we were going to do it. We just made the decision then that we were going to hop into business.
Okay. What was you guys' first business like? Cause I met you, right? I met you via being outside in event spaces like vending and stuff like that. And I told you, Frank, that's like right after I realized, like, was it pandemic season, maybe 2020 or 21?
Right.
It might have been 21.
Yeah, it was right after the pandemic. Yeah.
Right after, but I was telling him, I was like, bro, I know everybody's tired of staying in the house. Everybody's going outside. That's when I really started getting heavy on vending outside and stuff. But that's why I met you at. And so, was your first business the clothing line or?
Yep. So the clothing line, Royalty Apparel, was our first business. That's what we kind of hopped into because honestly, I just didn't know what to do. And I did my research, YouTube video, YouTube University, all that good stuff, right? And I kept seeing, do what you're passionate about, do what you love. I played ball my whole life. I played basketball. So I was like, I got to do something connected to athletics. So we started with the apparel because we could do that while we kept the corporate jobs and kind of figured things out.
You know what's crazy? It's like I feel like a lot of people are waking up to this whole, you got to do something besides just your regular job, like your corporate job, whatever it is. Because like everybody's trying to branch off and become their own CEO, own boss, branch into business. I think that's dope. I think people need to see this. People need to hear these stories. And I think it's pretty dope. So y'all jumped into apparel because it was you were into sports. And I myself looked into t-shirt companies, bro. I was going to just do this t-shirt company too. It's like you got to do something, right? You don't know what to do. Yeah. You might have different passions. You might not want to monetize or start a business, but you're like, yo, I got to do something. Because like you said, the job by itself ain't cutting it. Nobody gets rich off of working for somebody else.
Right.
Very rarely.
They never pay you enough to be their neighbor.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So did the t-shirt business work out? Did it fizzle out? And then you transition over to Turo? Like, how was that process?
T-shirt business was good. Since it was the first thing that we had kind of jumped into, learned a lot. We still sell product, but it's not the thing that I push as much anymore because I'm so involved with the Turo thing. But yeah, we still have it running in the background. But we gonna keep that going because I got some other plans to get back to athletics and stuff in the future. So.
Dope.
Yeah, I gotta say your hoodie, bro. Like I wear the hoodie, and some like my wife wears it like it's hers. My daughter had. I literally posted it on my story this morning. My daughter wearing it because he had it on. Like everybody wears it equally in my house. That's crazy. Like so, really like that. It's a good fit. It's great quality. So yeah, check him out, guys.
Appreciate that.
Facts. What was you got a website or a page for the apparel?
Yeah, website is Royalty Apparel. Royalty is spelled RYLTY apparel.com.
Okay, cool. Word.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the cars?
So when I was doing the clothing line, I had to hop into coaching and mentorship programs and stuff like that because I didn't have anybody around me that had done business. I didn't know what I was doing.
Like most of us,
So I was going on the internet trying to figure it out, right? And I kept on hearing about entrepreneurs talking about this Turo thing and how people were making a lot of money off of it. And it was appealing because, cars, we all drive cars every single day. So I was like, that seems like a simple business. And the more and more I was hearing about it, it seemed like it was low barrier to entry. You didn't need a whole lot of startup capital to get into it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the apparel thing was cool, but it wasn't doing what we needed it to do.
Right.
It wasn't going to be the thing that that got me to leave my job. Right. So I heard about it, and it probably took me about 8-9 months to really jump into it. And I tested it, and it went well. Because I didn't think it was going to work in my area. I tested it 1 month, and then from there, we went and got 4 more cars the next month, and it's taking off.
Oh, word. That's crazy. So,
yeah, bro.
For those who don't know, like, Turo's you said it was an Airbnb of rental cars.
Yeah.
So, like, when it comes to these type of businesses, a lot of the time, most of the time, you don't need to necessarily own the asset that you're renting out. So, is Turo different in that you have to go find a car, purchase it, own it, and then rent it out? Or is it you can leverage other people? Like, how does it work?
So you can leverage other people, and that's one of the things that we love doing. So even if you know somebody that got a car sitting in the driveway, you form a little joint venture with them. We got a couple of partners that we joint venture with. They'll give us
I didn't think about that.
Yep, and to manage their car, and then we just split revenue at the end of the month.
Oh, word. Okay.
That do sound smart. Matter of fact, I was listening to some YouTube shorts or whatever, some show doo-wop was saying she was getting paid like that, but I was being whacked because I said she had a silver spoon because she had access to athletes and their fleet of cars, and she was making it seem like she was doing something. It's a no-brainer.
I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer to anybody. My bro got 8 cars in the lot. And he ain't doing it with. I'm going to capitalize. Like,
right.
So,
you talking about Lambos and shit?
I never thought about it. Oh yeah, they had expensive cars. So
okay.
But I never thought about it for like your neighbor or someone in your neighborhood, right? That you have a closer connection with, right?
Yeah, for sure. We people hear about what we're doing and they want to get involved. So we had to find a way to how can we leverage other people, because at the same time when you're building this business, you don't want to over leverage yourself and go out and first of all, you don't want to finance a whole bunch of cars, but still at the same time you don't necessarily want to get the overhead. Like if we were to go out and finance these cars and have that car payment and insurance, any way you can eliminate that, that's really how you make money in this game.
Right. That's dope. That's crazy. So how is this business different from like rideshare, like Uber and Lyft? Like I understand the driver, those companies pretty much leverage the driver to drive their car around, and they pay them like 40% or whatever. So this is different in that whoever rents from you, they're driving the car. Like if they would rent from hers or Avis or whoever.
Yep.
So business wise, profit margins and all, how is it different? Is it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head around the feasibility and how efficient is it? You know what I mean?
So when you say when you're talking about like the margins, you're saying from our end as like the host,
right?
So it's and that's why I talk about like the overhead. So that's really important, like, and where you get in at for these cars, because the more and more that you can eliminate that car payment and insurance, then you're gonna have more profit there. Right. So to answer your question, Turo has protection plans. So they basically serve as like the insurance company through these protection plans. So they'll give you insurance with a certain deductible. The most popular one is a 75 plan,
Right.
where you get 75% of your proceeds and Turo takes 25%. And then if anything happens during the $150 deductible, and they'll take care of the car and all of that.
Nice. So you said
Okay,
Turo
yeah.
provides insurance, but what about the owner's own insurance? Like, is it tapped at all? Is it where's the liability protection? Like, okay, let's say there's an accident, right? Somebody crashes or whatever, but they were going through Turo. You said the Turo insurance would take over the owner's own car insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that is always our first reference. We want to go to Turo. If we're renting these things
Right.
out, we want to make sure that they pay out for all of these. Now, as
Right.
far as you still need insurance on the vehicle yourself as the business owner, of course. We can't have any cars out here without any type of
Protection. Yeah.
insurance. So you want to have commercial insurance on the back end. Some people
Right.
go with the personal insurance route and put them on their personal policies, but I wouldn't recommend that because if your personal insurance finds out you're doing it, then they could drop you or
Oh,
whatever.
they don't like that shit.
No, they ain't going for that.
Because
I
they
think that was my
quoted
question,
you
yeah.
right. They quoted you as personal use over a business use, and you're getting
Right.
over.
Yeah, so are you planning, like you said, you didn't want to finance so much of a car, so are you going to plan to stick with this OPC, other people cars model? You know,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Or,
So we're in the growing phase of the business right now, and we've kind of switched up the business model. I love the joint ventures because that's one of the ways you can start making profit right away. Like we don't have to. They pay us to put the cars on our platform. So
Right.
I love that model. But at the same time, once the business grows, we'll probably start going out and getting some more cars in cash, and because we understand if we get a car we can find a car $5,000-$6,000 now.
Cash
Uh,
car, right?
Yep, cash card. We can get our money back within 6 months, and then after that, it's pure profit, and that car can run as long as we can keep it up.
so what would you suggest somebody who had a car looking
Mhm.
for just their own personal vehicle, right? Would you suggest, hey, use your personal vehicle to do tour if it's out there, you don't need as much, or would you suggest try to get another car if you can in your name, right, to get started, or like you said, use an OPC, somebody else's car?
If you're on the fence, I always suggest people start with your own car. I mean, that was the advice, literally the advice that I got from one of my boys who was in our coaching program, and he was in the
Okay.
game. I was like, bro, I was asking all these questions.
Mhm.
He was like, "You got a car, don't you?" He was like, "I was like, yeah." He was like, "Go home, put it on the platform, and see how it goes. If you don't like it, then no harm, no foul. Pull your car out, and you're good." So that's my suggestion. If you have a car, start with your own car, see how
Okay.
it goes, see how you like it. Now, really, what you probably could do is use that car to even go and get another car. That car will probably pay for itself and another car if you wanted that as like your daily driver.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so what about like I guess my question would be like, okay, I got a car. What if I want to use my car? How do you I guess schedule wise, like let's say somebody hits you up and they want to rent it for a week. That takes
Mhm.
you out of commission, right? You can't use your own personal car. So how do you where's the balance? Like I guess you could there's moments of time where you can I guess if you're not using it, you put it on, and if you need it, you take it off. Like how does that work with the balance of needing your own car as opposed to renting it out for this
Yeah,
business?
no, that's a good question. That's a good question, and it does. It gets a little crazy, but thankfully I had a couple of cars. The wife had a car, and she in the 9 to 5. Most people cars are sitting, especially now we're all working from home. Your car is sitting in the driveway.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
if it's gone during the week, you're probably gonna want it back maybe,
For the weekend.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of deal.
Right.
Monday through Thursday, you're not really tripping if you don't have a car. But it's always good to have maybe another one that you can, or family members. Like we have 10 cars right now, and there's times when I don't even have a car to drive. But my wife
Wow.
has a car, my sister has a car, my mom has a car. So I'll be like, yo, let me borrow the car for this and that, but I do need to go ahead and just get one for me to have it so that I don't have to do that. But yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. 10 cars, you ain't got one. That's good business. That's a good problem to have. Get you a little
Yeah.
Prius stored in the garage or something.
Right. Exactly.
So are
Hey,
you?
Frank over there thinking.
Yeah, no,
You're
because
starting it.
I mean we got. I don't know. I got a gas guzzler. I'm assuming. So here it is. I'm assuming. Obviously you check for licensed drivers, right? The driver has to be licensed, and they have to have their own insurance for like their vehicle, or like they just need a driver's license they could rent from the service.
So the good thing about Turo, it handles all of that process for you. So they are going to they're going to verify the driver's license. They're going to verify that they're a decent driver. There are steps that we have to do before the trip just to make sure that they didn't use somebody else's driver's license to get on the platform. But they're going to handle all the insurance information. When we're going through Turo, we don't ask them if they have insurance because on their end, Turo offers them protection as well. So they can either elect to take their protection that Turo offers, or they can bypass it and use their own insurance. So they kind of handle that whole process. Only thing that we have to do is just right before the trip, we'll ask for a picture of the driver's license and holding the driver's license right up to their face just to make sure that that's who they say they are. And it's as simple as that.
Right, gotcha. And how is like, so I don't know. I felt like is there any pushback from these rental car companies? You know, like Avis and all them, because like with Airbnb, you know, the hotels are going after them. Like when there's something that disrupts the market, there's always the old school person or whoever was there first crying, trying to get a regulation or whatever. I would put my shit up there, but then I got worry about crashes, you know, smoking, people fucking my shit up or whatever. Yeah, it's like, are there any horror stories with this, or has it been smooth sailing? People just rent the car, they drive it nice, they return it, and there's no problems.
No totaled cars.
No, there's always the horror stories, but I'm gonna answer your first question. Right. As far as like the pushback, the biggest pushback that I've seen is these rental car companies making a big deal about it. So airports won't allow for like Turo drop-offs and won't allow for that sort of thing. Of course, right. So Turo is definitely growing. They're overseas with it now, so they're definitely growing. But that's the biggest thing I've seen. Nothing around our area as far as like the airports. They don't have any regulations yet, but that's probably going to be the biggest thing because, you know, those are constant leads, people coming into the airports every single day.
Right. If they can hold the airports, I mean, they're good for the most part. Right. They're going to try for sure.
Exactly. So, as far as like the horror stories, it's definitely the horror stories. You know, with the good comes the bad, man. And I think that's one of the things that people they look for an opportunity, but then they want to eliminate the risk. And I haven't found it yet. You know, with every opportunity, there's gonna be some risk involved. So we've had accidents, things like that, but not to where a vehicle's been totaled. We've had a car go down. I think we just got one of our cars out the shop. This lady said she was backing out of her driveway and scratched the sides of the car up with the chicken coop fence or something crazy. But
what?
It was real deep scratches. Like we couldn't rent it out like that. It was ridiculous. We had to replace the whole door. But things like that do happen, of course.
Are you new in town or need a fresh cut on the fly? Let me show you a convenient way to hire a mobile hair care pro now. Simply download the Cuddy app from the App Store. Create a profile and have access to professional mobile barbers and stylists in your area. The Cuddy app allows you to browse for hair care professionals 24/7. View their profile and share your locations to find the nearest one. Once you've found the perfect pro with just a click of a button, have a professional meet you in a matter of minutes. This means no more worrying about running late, waiting for the next chair to open, or missing your appointment completely. Reclaim your valuable time and put your mind at ease knowing your hair care pro is on the way. Cuddy app is the only place to hire a hair care pro whenever you are ready, wherever you are. Cuddy app. Join the revolution today.
Oh, I got to tell you guys this one though, because
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Talk that shit.
So 2 months ago, was it 2 months? No, it's probably like last month. I think it was around right before Thanksgiving. We had somebody, and this is probably the worst rental that we had. She rented the vehicle. She had it for about a week, right? But we have trackers on our cars, so we get notifications whenever they enter an impound lot. So we get a notification that one of our cars entered a NYPD impound lot. Damn. So it's in New York City, right? Right. So I'm hitting her up. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Is everything all right? You know, type deal. And she's like, oh no, it's fine. But she didn't.
Somebody in the trunk.
She didn't really respond for a while, which, then I'm getting on the phone like, what's going on?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, very suspicious. But then she tells me, she has a cousin who has to get the car out of the impound lot because she's too sick to go get it. Long story short, she was never in New York with the car, so she had let somebody else borrow it, and he was in New York, and he was just, doing whatever with it. he couldn't get the vehicle out the impound lot. NYPD wouldn't release it to anybody except for the rental car company, which was us. So we did have to travel to New York City to
My
retrieve
God.
that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was
That
crazy.
was fun.
I bet you
We
made
got
no money
reimbursed.
on that. Was that a profitable rental or no? Can you,
I mean, it was profitable, but still,
Okay.
it was a whole day of our time. I'd rather, not go through all that just because he was smoking in the car, so we got a smoking fee, we got a cleaning fee, the car was trashed,
Yeah.
got reimbursed for the tolls, the money that we had to pay the impound
wow.
lot. So it ended
Right,
up being like, we ended up making like $1,200, $1,300 off that one rental, but it still was, it was a headache.
That's crazy. Oh,
That
you still made
sounds like
money.
a headache.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Still
That
trying
sounds
to-
like a headache.
Yeah,
So I was
that-
about to ask about
that
maintenance
was-
about the maintenance on the cars. Like, so I heard you say like the insurance with the body shop and stuff like that. What about your maintenance, right? Your wear and tear, your brakes and oil change maintenance stuff like. Is that usually, how do you schedule that and deal with that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I think that's the toughest part, especially when we get up to we getting up to like 10 cars and stuff, is just keeping up with that type of stuff. The main thing, and that was our main concern when we got into it. So we actually went and got new cars at first. So we got maintenance packages on all the cars that we got.
Okay.
So we take them back to the actual dealerships and they perform the maintenance. But as we're getting more and more cars, we do have people that do our regular oil changes and tire rotations. And we'll just, we'll kind of gauge it by the type of car and the type of driving that we know that it's doing.
Right.
But we really keep up with, you probably need to get tire rotation every 45 days for the amount of the time that these vehicles are on the road. And then an oil change probably like on every month.
Right. Dope.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So what's the let's talk profit. Like we don't gotta get too deep in the weeds, but like I'm assuming Turo takes a portion of the total rental fee, right?
Absolutely.
Is it astronomical? Is it crazy? Is it profitable for the, or is it like you break even and you got to rent a lot to actually make money?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I think that's the main question, and it really depends on the type of market that you're in, largely, and then the type of cars that you have too. But so what I will tell you is that Turo definitely is going to take theirs. The most popular plan is 75, so you're getting 75% of whatever you make. So that in itself.
So they take 25. Okay.
Yeah. That in itself, that 25, you don't really pay attention to it at first, but after a while, you start to notice, like, okay, if I would have had that 25% back, it really would have changed things.
Right.
But then you have maintenance isn't too expensive as long as you don't have any things that have to come out your pocket. But you do have like. The thing that we didn't notice is the gas back and forth because we were delivering to airports and things like that. That starts to add up, and then you get parking fees because every time you go to an airport, you have to pay for parking. That adds up, especially when you have multiple vehicles. We have some virtual assistants that handle the customer service.
Nice.
So there is a profit there, but after a while, and after you manage a lot of cars, what I have found, right, on Turo, the profit isn't enough to manage 10, 15, 20 cars. Like I would never do that on the Turo platform. So now what we're doing is doing private rentals, and we'll find people, not only just private rentals. We don't want to tailor our business towards the person that is just going for the weekend trip anymore. We want to rent our vehicle out weeks at a time so that the vehicle is gone 30, 60, 90 days.
Oh, wow.
So now, instead of going through Turo, we'll find a travel nurse who's in the area who's had one of our cars for
That's
6
crazy.
months.
Yeah, travel nurses,
Right?
they get money.
Right. So now that car, not only do we don't have the daily expenses, but now the revenue, I think on average, we were making like, probably bringing home around like $800 a month, which isn't bad. But I think it was like a $350 car payment. So, not a lot of margin there, but now it's at like $1,300, $1,350 is what she pays on a monthly basis. That's going into our pocket.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, there's things like that, finding long-term rentals and doing it privately. That's really where the profit is.
That sounds different. That sounds disruptive in a disruptive market. You know what I mean? And I kind of thought about. I just sent you a video before too, Frank, about the smart cars just doing things, right? So
Right.
I was gonna think like, would you get a smart car, but to do other things with, to rent out or to, Uber Eats or something crazy?
Yeah, that's a good. that's a good market to tap into too. We actually have a couple of Uber drivers who rent vehicles from us because they drive cars for a living, so they need cars.
If it costs me $500 for the month and if I make $1,200, yeah, I'm paying.
Right. And 500 is a little on the, if you get a smaller sedan, you can get $300 car payment.
Dope.
And you still gonna make that $1,300 though.
Yep.
So how does I'm assuming does Turo do the pricing based on the model and the year, or like can you come up with arbitrary figures, say I want to rent this car for this, or is there like a tiered thing where like Uber has, Uber X and all that?
There is, and it's not something that's often talked about.
Right.
Some cars, they won't let you go over a certain limit as pricing wise by the type of vehicle, and that's something we didn't notice.
Right.
So we have HRVs, which are like small utility vehicles. We were thinking we could get during like summer months when travel is hot and all of that, we could get like 80, 90, maybe even $100 a day. That's not the case. They cap certain vehicles at a certain level for sure.
Oh, okay. So the nicer the car, the more you could charge, the more profit margin. But if it's like a old hoopty or something, they're gonna limit that, right? Cause, I guess the experience for Turo. Okay.
For sure.
That's dope. That's interesting.
I'm more interested in the private rental, right? Because like I'm literally thinking about like Turo. I know bypassing Turo, but then like providing cars for people to do services, right? Like you said, Uber, and like I could only just now see myself like getting a smart car to go taxi, because you can program it to go to and fro. You know what I mean? But the video we had, the girl was in the goddamn they had a camera in the car, talking to the passenger because they had a seatbelt on. It was like, put the seatbelt on. But the car, wasn't nobody driving the car. The car was driving to and fro, from wherever. And like that's how you like that play. What is it like to you? Would you do something like
that? The smart car?
Yeah.
Hey, if we get our hands on one, for sure. But
I mean, you'd have to charge more to make that back, because those smart cars ain't cheap.
Yeah. But
is it still a game?
It's the same game. Hertz,
right?
Hertz just bought a whole crazy amount of Teslas, and they're renting them out to Uber drivers. So they're doing the same thing. They're just charging an arm and a leg. Like I'm in some of these Uber driver Facebook groups and stuff, right? Because I want to see what they're talking about.
That's right.
They charge them like $700 a week to drive around Teslas.
And are they getting that back as an Uber driver?
Of course.
Yeah, they do it full time.
Oh wow, okay.
Because they don't have to do anything. They just in the car.
I wonder how much. My question, but like, how much is that eating into like what? Because Uber's taking a cut. They paying you. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to pay for the Tesla. Like, I don't know. I Uber drove for 1 month. This was like 6-7 years ago when it first came out here to Virginia Beach. I didn't do it full time. I tried it out. I didn't like it. I had a charge at the time, but I'm thinking like, okay, everybody, we're moving to business models where like nobody's owning shit. You're just renting someone else's shit, and you're doing a service, and it's crazy. Like to hear Uber drivers renting cars to Uber drive. It's like you don't even own a car. It's not your car. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. I need to see the numbers to see how it works.
A product. It's like selling a product, bro. It's literally just like, I'm gonna buy these things at this price. I'm gonna use this service at this price. I'm gonna capitalize on it, make this much money, and just pay for that. And like,
that's crazy.
The way that they look at it, because I'm interested in that too, because I want to see the way that they think. And there is a big debate about that whole thing, right? Whether it makes sense or not. But I saw somebody post inside one of those groups last week, and they were just talking about how they drive so much, 10 to 12 hours a day, which is crazy to me, but they drive so much that at like 30,000 miles or whatever it was, they had to get 4 new tires. So they were calculating, if that was their car, how much it would cost for them to replace the tires on the vehicle. They don't have to pay for any gas. And then once they run that vehicle into the ground, I mean, it's a Tesla, so it's not the same time. They don't have to really worry about much wear and tear. They can just give it back. Right. Versus if you had your own vehicle that you own, you would be locked into that loan for a higher
liability.
Right. And then because you put so many miles on it, if you wanted to sell it back to the dealership or anything, then you might be upside down and have to make up that difference. So that was kind of that. That's how they view it. So yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know. It's almost like there's so many creative ways now to start a business, make money. Use other people's assets, leverage other people, use other people's resources. it's almost like at this point it's like you just got to find your thing, right? So like, would you say Turo is your thing? You found it. You're comfortable enough in it. Like it's like you're gonna run full time, or just go to the stars, or are you the type serial entrepreneur? Okay, I'm doing this now. Maybe I'll find something else. I'm gonna jump to something else, jump around, move around.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this for the time being while I'm in it. I'm 10 toes right now in this
Right.
rental car game, but
10 cars in.
yeah. I'm definitely in it right now, but yeah. I know down the line, probably a couple of years, we want to build up a rental car agency here in the Virginia area and end up
Right.
selling it to the highest bidder. I'm gonna be on to something else probably in
Facts.
3-4 years.
Okay.
Facts. That's what's up.
That
That's
sound
great.
like a plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I might look at renting my shit. We got 2 cars. I mean, my shit's sitting there, bro. I mean, I work from home. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
Right.
but when I do drive it, it is taking up a lot of gas. I am putting miles on it. So I don't
you
know.
say you got a charger?
No, I used to have. I got Explorer now, Ford
Gotcha.
Explorer
Mm.
SUV. So what would if I were to rent that out? What kind of numbers am I looking at per rental? I guess per day or per week or from your experience.
Mm,
Let me know
so
if it
Ford
helps.
Explorer, that's a nice SUV, nice size. You could get up to $115 a day, probably.
Pocket profit.
No, that's not profit.
Okay.
That's per day.
That's on the Turo platform. But
Okay.
if you wanted to rent it by like weekly, and you wanted to find maybe like an Uber driver or a travel nurse or somebody, you could get. I mean, we have people buying our smaller SUVs for like $375 a week. So you could probably get $400 a week for a Ford Explorer that's in good shape.
Mm-hmm. And how about go look on the app? Go check out the app, because
Okay.
I know an old head. He always screaming about he got these kind of cars, and I'm like, bro, you got the fire whip. Put it on the app, because you ain't doing nothing but making noise with it and looking old. Like
Yeah.
if you really want to,
Shit.
if you really trying to do something, put that junk on the tour. Because like if you got a nice muscle car or something clean, people gonna find reasons to use it, or already got reasons and looking for it and just don't know you got it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so
and
look on the app and compare cars like yours. My bad.
yeah, no, that's smart, and everybody don't have to build a big business with it. I mean, even if it paid its payment that month or every month,
Right.
that would be a huge benefit to most people. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. I mean, if I just rent it out a few days a month and make the payment, it's paying for
Yeah,
itself. Yeah, no, and that putting that money back in my pocket.
So
right.
I definitely thought I definitely got a new car, and
Interesting.
I just got it a couple months ago and was like, nah, I'm gonna put it on tour. I did the process. I haven't done the orientation yet, right? But I'm still kind of wrestling with, because it's my main vehicle, right? And I just kind of got it, and right,
Right.
so I don't know. I think I'm just looking into whether I should pull the trigger now, because I'm literally at the doorstep, right? I gotta
Yeah,
probably just clean the car, take pictures, and then do the orientation. And I'm good to go. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So I'm
Always,
still wrestling with it.
always suggest put them trackers on it though.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
put it out there
facts.
without a tracker.
Oh my god, yeah. You can get
Yeah,
them.
we got kill switches on all of ours, so if
Is that
somebody
something you had to install like
yeah.
okay. No, that's
Mhm.
dope.
And what's that process like? Is it expensive? Like, do they just put it in there, or like a remote start type Jimmy?
I mean, it can be expensive, but there's different type of companies out there. There's Advantage, there's Gold Star, that's the one that we use. A popular one that other hosts use is called Bouncy, and I think those have like monthly subscriptions, and they're not very expensive. Whereas ours, I think, to buy the device and install it is probably like 270, 250, somewhere around that range,
Well, ain't bad. Yeah.
per car, which isn't crazy, but we don't want the monthly expense. All the other ones have like a monthly
Right.
subscription tied to it.
Has anybody ever run up on your whip?
I
Oh
was
yeah,
just about to ask that next question
I know you will.
because I'm seriously considering.
I've heard crazy stuff. I've heard people getting their cars stolen, things like that. I don't think anybody was running off with it, but they definitely wasn't returning it at the time that it was supposed to be returned.
But that
It
you
wasn't
charge for that,
responsive.
right? Is the late fees, extra
Hmm.
days, and all that? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Question. So, I got insurance. Obviously, you were saying if you rent it out, Turo has an insurance option that they provide the driver, right? So let's
Hmm.
say again, it gets stolen or it gets totaled in a crash. That's not gonna fall back on my insurance, right? Because like the Turo insurance, Does it have like gap and all that? Is it like comparable to your own insurance, or basically would they replace the fucking car?
Right. Now, I don't think it has any gap insurance factored in there, but they will give you the market price of the vehicle. So if it's total, they'll give you that price. And I've heard people going back and forth as far as like they can negotiate what the actual value is.
Right.
I haven't been through that myself, so I don't know their process, but they will pay you out if it gets totaled.
Okay, because I'm just thinking, worst case, you got to think worst case scenario. If I rent my shit out for a week, try to just, get a payment to where I could make, get someone to pay it. And then I don't get the car back. I never see it again, and it's fucking gone. I'm like, what the fuck? This was a bad idea. So that's all. And again, that's my vehicle. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not a thing sitting out there. Like when I need it, I use it. It's not like a sidecar that I don't drive because I don't need to. Are you looking for a media agency that covers all the creative tasks that make a business successful? Lucid Perspective produces elegant, high-resolution graphics and logos, high-definition and 4K video, complete with treatment concepts and innovative editing. Lucid Perspective provides photography services such as fashion, advertisements, product or service, and aerial photography. We also help businesses build their brands from the ground up with complete campaigns that will make your business attractive to your target audience. We can bring your brand to the masses with our effective and strategic marketing campaigns to include sales funnels, eye-catching advertisements, breakthrough digital marketing through social media, and other digital avenues. Visit lucidperspective.com today.
So I'll tell you this: we have over 300 trips now on Turo, and we've only had one accident, and it was like, it was something that our body guy could fix within like a week or so. Right. One major accident. And then like little stuff like the scratches and stuff that I was telling you guys about. It hasn't been anything major, thank God, but that doesn't happen to everybody, right? Some people, the first time they rent it out, just like you said, I've seen that they said that their car got into an accident, got totaled, and things like that. Yeah. So I've seen those horror stories, but it hasn't been very common with our cars.
And how does delivery work? So like right now it's parked in front of my house. If somebody goes in the app, rents it out, do they have to come here and pick it up? This is my favorite part. Right. Do they have to come here, pick it up? Do I got delivered to them? Is it however is convenient for me, or is there like an obligation to go out your way and bring it to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you definitely have the option to deliver to them, because if they're picking up the car, more than likely they don't have a car to get to you. So some people will get the delivery option, right? But home location, that's a good point that you bring up, because we don't use our home address. Like we don't have people come to our houses. We use like different spots around our city, like commuter lots or shopping malls, train stations, parking garages, things like that.
Public places,
people to pick up the car from there, and we'll leave the key with the car, and we don't meet most of our guests on Turo. We just drop the car off. We let them know the process of picking up the car. We'll send them the code. Once they send us their driver's license, and the car is there sitting waiting for them, so that I don't have to physically be there myself.
And the same for drop off? Like they just drop it off at a random place or wherever you agree to? And
Yep, they drop it off, and then we'll come pick it up whenever it's convenient.
Hey Frank,
what?
I live near a commuter lot. It's walking distance. I ain't had no car. Like I was literally walking down the street, 13 minutes maybe, not even 13 minutes, probably less than 10-minute walk. I'm going down there, do the check-in, get in the car. I got a whip now. When I'm done, put gas in it, take it back,
drop it off,
and then walk my ass back home. That's my favorite part, bro.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but when I be on Turo looking for other cars, I notice not everyone uses these lots, right? Like you do, but I don't know if they do drop offs neither. But yeah, that was just my favorite part.
Yeah,
that's great.
It makes it real easy for us, and the more that you can make the business pass, because it's not in itself is not a passive business, especially when you're doing Turo, because it's every 2 or 3 days you're picking up a car, you're cleaning it, you got to take it to the car wash, you got to vacuum it out, so it's not
prep
very.
It for the next one,
Yeah, it's not very passive. And then on top of that, if you have to meet every guest and do that type of stuff, it really gets in the way, especially if you already have like a 9-to-5 or another business or something like that. Yeah, it can get crazy.
Man, at a minimum, I feel like for me, if I did it at a minimum, I would just do it enough to cover the payment of the car, and that'll be the purpose for it, right? Like, to just pay my car note, so I'm not paying for it. I'm renting it out. Well, I'm not using it, obviously. Like it's sitting there most of the time anyway. Somebody out there is using it for whatever reason. They pay, and then I could pay the car note. That for me would be a win, and maybe insurance too. Cover my car note and insurance. I think that'd be a win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because most people, car payment is their second biggest expense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my car payment's up there
No,
too.
no, it'd be wild. Somebody rent your car, then you ask them to drop you off.
Nah, I've never done that. I've heard people do it. I'll just catch an Uber. I'll catch an Uber back.
You know, be wild renting your car out, and then you call an Uber, and then someone drive your car back to you using the Uber. Like, what, bitch? It's my car, bitch. No, that's crazy.
That's funny.
So what I will say is, like, Turo does not. They have in their terms of service that you cannot drive the car for like rideshare purposes.
Okay.
So they don't want people coming over on there to rent cars to drive for Uber, Lyft, or anything like that.
Okay.
If you are trying to appeal to Uber drivers, you probably got to do private runs.
Right.
Yeah.
So, speaking of your other business, right, private rentals, do you have any other business that you're aspiring on, working on, or just fully in the rental car space? Like, because Frank and I are juggling goddamn 3-4 balls at you know what I mean?
It is crazy.
But,
yeah. And now I'm thinking of this, right? So what the fuck?
Yeah, man, my mind's always working, man. Really, I want to get into real estate. That's kind of my next thing, but I want to get into like commercial real estate. It's gonna be tied to the cars. So the next play is to use this cash flow that we're building up from the rental cars and go get like a little event space here in the city.
Nice.
And then use the parking area for the rental cars. So you'll come to me at this location. That's where the cars will be. And then my wife, she does events and stuff. So she'll be doing her events in there. And then we'll rent out the event space to other local businesses, churches, for baby showers, birthdays, whatever. So that we have that business. And then ultimately, I want to open up a gym too. So
there you go. That's dope. Power couple. That's right. You got to do these things. Build a step at a time. Build a base. Build a house. Build a pyramid. It's dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you sitting on the millions. You're a millionaire. You got all these businesses, self-managed, and you fucking made it. And you're like, how'd you get here? And most people look at, oh, you were born this way, or you silver spoon or whatever. Like, no, it's hard. It takes hard work to get where you want. And if you're willing to do the work, you know what I'm saying? Stay consistent, you get there.
Absolutely. Got to be intentional with it.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
That's dope, man. I just want my car payment. I just want my car payment. I'll be good with that. I'll do Turo just for that.
Bro,
I promise.
Before I got this car, I didn't have I own my car, and my family just grew, and I was like, man, I need a bigger car, and I was like, I don't want to pay for one though, and so I ended up just having to get one, and I was like, it has to pay for itself because that car note and insurance I didn't see for the past 5 years. Right. Now that shit is just in my face every month. Bugging if I gotta be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, or you could just get you a little smaller sedan. You go out there and find a little Ford Focus, and you partner up with somebody like me. Right. We rent it out and we make some bread off that. That money will probably pay for both cars. Dope. Get 1 or 2.
You sound creative, bro. I like that.
Dope.
Yeah, I mean, I do tell people, if it's your car, you got like an emotional attachment to it. Don't put it on Turo, because people aren't going to take care of it the way that you're going to take care of it. Things are going to happen. People are disrespectful.
Smoke in there, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question. What was it? Okay, scheduling. So like, let's say, because there's like my schedule's like 2 weeks. I'm driving a car almost every day, and then 2 weeks I'm not driving it barely at all. If you put the car up there, can you schedule like times where you would rent it out, or is it like it's got to be available 24/7 for the customer to use it, or can you like cherry pick days that you're willing to rent it out?
Yeah, you can block off the calendar. You can say days that it's available, times that you're available, and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can adjust it to your time. Okay. I always suggest that people leave it open though to really expand. You could do it that way. It would make sense. Like if you were just trying to make your car payment, then that would make sense for you to close it off 2 weeks out the year or out the month, and then have the other 2 weeks open. Yeah,
and hope somebody rents it out during that time.
Right.
Yeah, because there's 2 weeks.
Bring it back when you need it.
Yeah. There's times where like I need my car. You know what I'm saying? There's like I'm driving every day, and then there's 2 weeks where I don't. I use my wife's car. You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It might make sense again if I'm able to just get the payment paid. I'll be straight. That'll be good for me. It'll make sense for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what's up.
That's what it has to be. It has to make sense, and some people get into it, just don't even have a goal in mind, and that's where you can mess up at because you go in with an assumption I'm just gonna make all this money type deal, but if you know that you're just trying to make your car payment, or you're just trying to get a couple extra $1,000 a month, at least you got a target. You don't know what you're doing it for. It can get real old real quick.
Facts.
Facts.
That's
That's
real,
fact.
man. That's real.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I really like what you guys have built here, and I was checking out some of the episodes and stuff like that. So I was just gonna tell y'all, keep going. This is gonna be dope.
Thank you, definitely. We tried something new this last one. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know. I don't want to get.
It's going nuts.
Yeah, it is. It was just a
Talking
test.
about, was that the one with real estate?
Nah. Before that or after that.
Oh, okay. I gotta check that one out.
Yeah, there's a
Flat Earth guy,
Flat
man.
Earth
Oh,
episode.
man.
It's blowing up, and we just like.
Bro, we had 300 comments in like 2 days.
Oh, I saw that. I did see that one. I didn't look at it yet, but I did see that one.
Yeah, it's definitely totally
wild.
different from business and entrepreneur stuff. Like we just trying the waters or whatever. So we may have to, if we're gonna continue to do those, we'll do a separate channel for that. But like, yeah, no. We got plans for this podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got plans to keep moving forward. 25 seasons, Joe Rogan, millions of dollars. Let's go. That's what it is.
I love it.
Hey now.
Yeah,
I know.
you know what I mean? So, where can people find you if they want to go in business with you? Maybe do a partnership with the Turo, or maybe rent from you. What's all the links? What's the website, socials, and all that?
Yeah, so at TJ the Turo Guy on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, just TJ Jones. But as far as anybody that is looking to get started, if you go to carsharingebook.com, then I have a free PDF on the car sharing game. Gives you all the answers to those questions, like where do you park the cars, is it profitable, all those questions that people are asking up front. I put together some documents for that. So carsharingebook.com.
Cool.
All right. Free top 5 car share secrets. I'm not doing all this right now.
Hey. Yeah, man. I'll let
Appreciate
you
you coming through.
Go ahead. My fault.
No, I was just saying, appreciate you coming through, man. Like I said, we can stay in touch. You're a creative guy, so I'm sure you're gonna be in our circle and find some way to unify and thrive like we do.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
I'm with
Absolutely.
I'm down.
With us being in the same city, we definitely gonna connect, man.
You're in Virginia Beach, Fredericksburg.
No.
I was talking about
We're in between.
Oh, okay. Word.
In between.
Nice word. That's what's up. All right, man. We'll be in touch, man. Thank you so much for coming through, man. It's definitely dope. If I could get on Turo and get my car paid, I'm going to thank you personally. I appreciate it. That'll be dope.
Anytime, man. I appreciate y'all.
All right, no problem.
All right, Brody.
Peace out.